Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Tuesday morning live stream, Bitcoin Basics. Well, where we'll talk about the basics of Bitcoin, how it works, how to move it around. I'll take your questions. And thanks for being here. Someone already has a question. Let's jump right in, guys. All right, so welcome everyone. Let's go over here to the screen. Let me pop out chat so you guys can, so I can see your questions while I give you a full screen. Thanks for joining me today. Let's go over here. Okay, so W was here from Belgium. Welcome. Good to have you here. Your first question was, how do I know what I bought? When I bought it, how much I paid for it, that kind of thing. I don't know that you can do that in your exchange. You know, it depends on the exchange. I'm sure that the exchange, if you go into your history, will give you a breakdown of every trade that you make. It may not be that easy to access, but it's there. I don't know that there's any overarching program that will allow you to do that except for the tax software type programs like Cointracker. So let me just give you an example. If you use Cointracker.com to help track your transactions, and it helps you do your taxes and prepare your tax forms, it tracks all of that stuff. I don't know if what you're looking for is here, but you can drill down. So let's take Tron for example here. It knows that I have some Tron, and I can drill down here and it gives me the history of all the Tron, like where I've moved it. And down here, I think this was a trade. So if you look here, it tells you the date, the time of the trade, what I traded, and what I got, and the cost basis at that date and time. So I guess that's what you're looking for. I don't know, like you say your software for your trading gives you like cost basis average and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that Cointracker does that, but it will allow you to at least track down those transactions individually, right? And it does give you an overarching, am I in my right one? Oh, okay. All of a sudden my portfolio changed. I don't know why. That's kind of weird. But anyway, I guess it just detected this, whatever. So that's one way to do it. And then it's going to give you your yearly gains and losses and that sort of thing to help you figure your taxes. And Cointracker is not the only one out there. There are a lot of them. So it just depends. Do a little research and decide which one you like best. But there's Bitcoin Tax. There's a lot of them out there that can track your trades and how much you paid and how much you've gained and lost, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's go over here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Ledger today and moving crypto around. Before we get too far into it, let me welcome Ty Cryptos, Teresa Faye, Miroslava, Gov from Dallas, cool. Shohela, Naki. I'm having trouble with these pronunciations this morning. I hope you guys will forgive me for mangling your names. Oscar RC from West Texas. Gino here catching the live stream. That's cool. So before I get too much into it, I'd like to point out, if you look at the description of the video, that I've got some affiliate links that you can explore, where you can gain a little bit of bonus by signing up using my link. You've got the crypto.com affiliate link. I don't know what happened to my Ledger. Oh, here. Ledger wallet. You can follow that link to get yourself a Ledger wallet. And also, I wanted to change the title of this. Let's save that. I wanted to talk about moving BTC. I had someone on the Friday night live stream, hello David, that asked me about SegWit versus non-SegWit. And they were a little confused. I'm sorry, it's not SegWit or non-SegWit, it's SegWit versus native SegWit. Let me get in this here. So their question was, okay, I want to set up a Bitcoin account, and it's asking me, it's giving me two choices when you set up a brand new empty Bitcoin wallet on Ledger Live. Ledger Live is the software that interfaces with the Ledger hardware device. This is one of the most secure and convenient ways to store your Bitcoin and or other cryptocurrencies. And there's a lot of hardware wallets out there, not just Ledger. There's Trezor, there's KeepKey, there's Elipal. There's a lot of hardware wallets out there. I find Ledger to be one of the easiest to use and most convenient. So I personally use it, and I've got a lot of demo videos on how to use these devices. If you go down in the description below, you'll see that I've got a lot of how-to step-by-step on how to set up, how to restore, all that kind of stuff. How to purchase Bitcoin. What I wanted to talk about is I have two different accounts here. There's a SegWit account, and pardon me, the SegWit account is the older format. Nothing wrong with SegWit. It's been around a while. And if I do a receive on a SegWit account, you'll see that the address starts with a 3. Right? It's just an address format. Right? And if we go over to a native SegWit account, let's go to Bitcoin main here, and we do a receive on that, you'll see that the address starts with a BC1. That's just the format of the address. And so when you're starting a new account on Ledger Live and you open up your Bitcoin app and you create an empty Bitcoin account, which is where everybody starts, it's going to ask you, do you want to use a native SegWit or a SegWit? And you can tick both of them or one or the other, right? It's up to you. But the reason why I choose native SegWit is because it's the newer format and it has advantages, right? It's just newer and better, right? The only issue that you've got with a native SegWit is that not every exchange supports native SegWit addresses. So like I think Gemini, if you try to withdraw your Bitcoin to your wallet and you give it a native SegWit address with a BC1 at the beginning, it will reject it. It'll tell you it's an invalid address, right? So you need to have a SegWit account. It's probably better to maintain both. You'll need a SegWit account for those occasions where you need to give an exchange or someone a SegWit address that starts with a 3 or a 1, right? So you can withdraw your Bitcoin to your wallet. But it's not a big deal if you've got both to just consolidate after the fact. So let me give you a real world example. The Bitcoin Ledger affiliate wallet that I have is the wallet address that I give to Ledger. They give me commission when people buy Ledger products using my link. It doesn't cost you any more than it would to just go to their site directly, but because I'm referring you, I get a little bit of a commission on those. Not a lot, but they pay me in Bitcoin. But they won't accept a native SegWit address. So I have to use a SegWit address with them. So, and that's the address that starts with a 3. So every month or so, or every couple weeks, they send a little Bitcoin to me, and it comes into this native SegWit wallet. Well, so what I do is I like to keep track of everything in my Bitcoin main wallet. And so what I do is I go over to Bitcoin main, I click receive, I'll hit continue, I'll get that address, there's that BC1 address, and now I can take that address and give it to my SegWit account. So if I do a send and I paste in that native SegWit address, notice that within Ledger, I can send back and forth between the wallets, right? I have no restrictions. So this particular wallet, even though it's SegWit, can send to a native SegWit address. I'm going to hit continue. I'll send it all, right? This is what I normally do. I just move it over to the native SegWit address. I'll hit continue here. Now what we need to do is sign the transaction from my account, right? I have a device here. And what's it doing? You know what? It's not giving me the... I'm going to do this again. Oh, I haven't gone that far yet. I gotta click one more continue. So I'm going to get into the Bitcoin app by hitting both buttons, right? It's waiting for me to do a transaction, right? It's there ready, waiting. Application is ready. I'll hit continue here. And this is the part where the security comes in. In order to send Bitcoin out of this wallet, I need to sign the transaction using the private key. And the private key is stored on this Ledger device, right? This device is a key chain, right? It holds a bunch of private keys. People call it a wallet, but it's more of a keychain than it is a wallet, right? So I'm just going to navigate over using this button to review the transaction. There's the amount. There's the address. You'll notice that address matches the address I'm sending to. You can't see it at the moment. And then I'll just click both buttons to accept. Whenever you see a check mark and a word, that means that you just want to choose that option by hitting both buttons, right? Now, there's a secondary transaction involved in this, which is the miner's fees, or the network fees. So I need to review that as well. There's a very small network fee, because there's a small amount of Bitcoin. Network fees are almost negligible, right? We'll hit both buttons there. So there I've sent the entire transaction across the blockchain, right? From one blockchain address to another. And you'll notice that the amount in this wallet will go to 0 here in a sec. All right, and then we can go over to accounts, to our Bitcoin main account, and we see that that Bitcoin from the SegWit account has come in, right? So now we've consolidated the Bitcoin. So if you've got, all you really need are 2 Bitcoin accounts, right? One native SegWit to manage the bulk of your cryptocurrency, your Bitcoin. A lot of exchanges support native SegWit. Coinbase, Binance US, a lot of them, right? But if for whatever reason you have that one stray account that won't accept a native SegWit address, just have a secondary SegWit account, right? You can have more than one Bitcoin account in Ledger, right? I guess that's where the user on Friday was a little confused. Which one do I choose? You know, what are the consequences? Well, really nothing, really. You can always create brand new accounts in Ledger. You can have multiple accounts. I could have 15 different Bitcoin accounts in here if I wanted to, right? Connected to different things, right? But I don't need to, right? And you'll notice there I've got another one over here that's got a little Bitcoin in it. I wanted to demonstrate something else here real quick. I can go to this account and just hit this edit account up here in the right and just delete the account completely. It's gone, right? The account is gone, but the wallet is not. The private key is not. Removing the account from Ledger Live does not delete the account from the device, right? The device always remembers all of your Bitcoin wallets. So I can choose Add Account here, choose Bitcoin, and hit Continue. And I'm in the Bitcoin app already, so it's going to scan my device for any private keys that it finds. All right, and these private keys, even if it is 0, it'll find it because there's transaction histories attached to these addresses. All right, so as you can see, I've created quite a few over the years that I'm not using anymore. I like to create fresh accounts. Might not be the greatest idea, but that's how I do it. And there, it found that Bitcoin account again, right? I can deselect all these empty ones and just choose this one, right? And just get it back. And then also notice here, add new account is still offering me the option of creating an empty brand new account with a blank history, right? A SegWit or a native SegWit. These numbers really don't matter that much, right? They're just placeholders that Ledger put in there because it needs to give them different names, right? But you can name them whatever you want. You know, I could call it garbage if I wanted to, or, you know, string beans. It doesn't matter what you name them, right? And there we go. I'll just add that account. I'm not going to add a blank account today. I just leave them unticked. I'll hit add account, close, and it's back, right? So a lot of people freak out when Ledger Live doesn't show their crypto. They think it's gone. It's not gone. It's here, right? The math does not forget. Let me find out who's asking questions, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more cryptocurrencies into Ledger Live. I reset my Ledger Live recently. That's why it's pretty much empty. But I'm going to do some ad accounts to show you how the device remembers all of your crypto. All right. So let's see what you guys are talking about today. Are you staking both XTZ and Tron? Are there any other stakeable coins in Ledger Live? As far as I know, and as far as I saw from a little blurb on Ledger, the only two right now in Ledger Live that are stakeable are Tezos and Tron, right? So when I agree on receiving a payment using Bitcoin, is it possible for the sender to cancel the payment during the 60 minutes it takes to confirm the transaction on the blockchain? I think there's I don't know if cancel is the right word. What the confirmation is doing is it's verifying that transaction to make sure that that is a valid transaction on the blockchain. And if the sender tries to resend the exact same Bitcoin that he just sent to you somewhere else, a double transaction will appear. Now, I don't know that that's... You have to be pretty advanced to try to do something like that. Most wallets won't allow you to do anything like that. It's called a double spend. But there might be some hackers out there. So, and you'll notice that in most cases, you are not able to spend the Bitcoin until it's completely confirmed, right? But in general, the answer to your question is no. They cannot cancel the transaction after they send it, right? Once they've confirmed it, once they've signed it, it's out there on the blockchain. The blockchain has built-in security measures that are going to confirm it totally on the blockchain, but a normal sender is not going to be able to cancel a Bitcoin transaction after they sign it, right? And after they sign it and it goes out on the blockchain, it's pretty much a done deal. But but you would probably, if it were for a boat, you know, or something big that they were paying you for, I would wait until it's for your own peace of mind. Just tell them I can't release the product or whatever until it's fully confirmed, right? And then you've covered all your bases. Now, that's a little slow, so there are a lot of services out there that will go ahead and fill your transaction, whatever it is, before it's totally confirmed. That's part of how the Lightning network is going to work as it becomes more, it's kind of built on top of the blockchain. It's a way to clear transactions before they're fully confirmed on the blockchain. But if you're worried about someone canceling a Bitcoin transaction, then don't fulfill your end of the bargain until after you see the entire Bitcoin confirmation. That'd be my advice on that. I'm going to add an account, and it'll be a Tezos account. So we'll do that in a sec. Never found my account and lost my Bitcoin. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Roger. How do you spend coins? You can send them. Confirmations like resin, or more confirmations, the more layers, thicker, harder, secure the resin. Okay, Maxwell Equations is here. It's very knowledgeable. All right, so what I'm going to do is, there was a question there about spending Bitcoin. You watched me do it. I sent Bitcoin from one place to another. In my case, in today's case, I was transferring it from one of my wallets to a different wallet that I owned. I owned both wallets. It was more of a transfer. But that's the exact same way to spend Bitcoin. You send it somewhere, right? Someone wants Bitcoin for a product or service. You send it to them. And you watched me do it, right? It just means sending Bitcoin from your own wallet to somewhere else, basically. That's spending Bitcoin. All right. Okay. And then if you're on an exchange like Binance or Coinbase and you've bought Bitcoin and then you trade it for another coin, then that's spending Bitcoin too. That's another way to spend Bitcoin. You trade it for some other resource or some other crypto, right? So what I'm going to do here is I lost my Bitcoin when I transacted the ledger. Transaction happened. My account is 0. I need a little more information about that. If you sent your Bitcoin somewhere and it's gone now, it's impossible for someone to hack into your ledger and take your Bitcoin, but it is possible for, unfortunately, I have to say this, it's possible for someone to trick you into sending them Bitcoin and not getting back anything in return, right? If you reveal your seed phrase to someone, they can steal your coins, right? So generally when people get their accounts quote unquote hacked, it's because they've been tricked into revealing their seed phrase, unfortunately. All right, so let's hit add account again. We're going to hit add account, and then we're going to choose Tezos, right? We'll hit Tezos here, and I've got my device ready. I'm going to turn this on over here, so you can see what's going on. I'm going to hit continue on the screen, and what's it going to do? Well, it's telling me to quit the application on my device because, if you remember, we're still in the Bitcoin app. So let's get out of that, right? So I need to use this button to navigate over to quit. When I get to quit, I'll hit both buttons. Hit both buttons. Now I'm back at the device home screen, so to speak, or main screen, however you want to think of it. It wants me to go to the Tezos app. So I'm going to navigate using the button across all these cryptocurrencies until I get to Tezos wallet. And then I'm going to hit both buttons, and I'm entering the Tezos wallet. Now I'm in the Tezos wallet. Now Ledger Live is scanning my device for any private keys, right? If it finds an existing private key, it will offer it to me. If it finds no private key, it will just simply offer me the blank account, the new account. If it finds a private key or one or more private keys, it will still offer me a blank account every time I do the add account. So I could add an existing account or add an empty brand new account, right? In today's case, this is an old account. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to add this Tezos account, and I'm just going to call it Tezos, right? I'm going to edit the title of the account. Like I said, we could call this thing string beans if we want, or hamburger with cheese. You can name it whatever you want. Doesn't matter what you name it. Let's hit add account. We'll hit close, and there's the Tezos. And interestingly enough, you can see that it's already been delegated, right? So all of the information about the Tezos account was remembered by my device, right? So even though I reset Ledger Live and Ledger Live was empty, when I went to add the account again, it found the account on my Ledger device and allowed me to put it back into Ledger Live. And everything about that account is intact, right? The balance, the delegation, the validator that I chose, the history, all of, I don't know what those are. It's kind of weird. The history of all of the incoming transactions. I think these may be connection issues. I'm not sure. It's nothing to worry about, really, because I am earning interest on this Tezos account, right? And it's not very much, right? We're only talking about $66 worth of Tezos, right? If I had $10,000 worth of Tezos, quite a bit of Tezos, then these incoming rewards would be bigger, right? Rather than just a few cents worth of Tezos, it'd be a few dollars worth of Tezos, or more, depending, right? Now, here's another thing that might blow your mind, right? I just said that when I reset Ledger Live and scanned my device, it found private keys, right? But suppose I completely deleted the Tezos app off of my Ledger device. Then what? Would I erase all the private keys for Tezos? The answer is yes, I would. Then what? Well, here's the mind-blowing thing. If I add the Tezos app onto the device again, it will regenerate the exact same wallets that it did the first time, because the master private key of the ledger is what determines the wallets, right? So I can completely erase the Tezos account, I can erase the Tezos app on my device, and the math remembers, right? If I were to regenerate a Tezos wallet by reinstalling the app, new private key, it'd be the exact same private key that it generated the first time. That's called deterministic, right? That's how this particular hardware wallet works. It's deterministic. That initial seed phrase that you get for your device, your 24-word recovery phrase, remembers all of the private keys that you've generated and transferred crypto into. So you cannot lose your crypto if you've got your seed phrase. Unless, of course, you somehow get tricked into revealing the seed phrase and someone else regenerates your wallets and transfers your crypto out. Or they trick you into sending them your crypto from your wallet, right? There's all kinds of scams out there. But these are social engineering scams. These are not people hacking into your ledger remotely, right? That's impossible, right? Because you control the private key. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. Hamburger with cheese. You ever? Thank you. Scott is here. Good morning, Scott. Good to have you here. Is the Lightning Network already live? And if it's faster compared to Bitcoin, will my Bitcoin become useless or fall in value? Thank you. That's a very good question, W. I don't believe that it's fully working. I think it works to a certain extent. Lightning Network, that is, which is a network that sits above the Bitcoin blockchain. There are some vendors that accept Lightning transactions at the moment, but it's not ready for prime time, so to speak. And no, your Bitcoin still holds value, because even if you have it in a regular wallet, you could still use that Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, right? So it's just in a different format when it's in a traditional Bitcoin wallet, but it's still Bitcoin. The price still holds, everything else. The good thing about the Lightning Network is that it should add to the value proposition of Bitcoin by making transactions faster and more efficient, right, and convenient. Because as you know, we talked about blockchain and confirmation. A Bitcoin transaction is pretty slow by today's standards, right? Slower than a credit card transaction. It just depends, though. I mean, you saw me move Bitcoin from one wallet to the other. It didn't take very long, right? It just depends on the format of who you're transacting with. Like, exchanges take a while to execute a withdrawal because they got all kinds of stuff going on under the hood, right? their Bitcoin may not be liquid, right? It may be in a long-term storage, so it has to like transition from one place to another before it actually gets to you, right? Within, but from one wallet to another is pretty fast, as far as I am concerned. Band protocol, I believe, is a coin, another coin, right? I don't think it's Bitcoin. Social engineering is hacking. It's been around since ancient times, right? You know, the 3-card Monte is a social engineering, right? They trick you into believing that you can choose which, you know, what is it, a walnut or whatever under the 3 cups, or, you know, where the queen is, and the guy, you know, it's all about misdirection, and they're basically playing on your greed and your fear. So the 3-card Monte has been around since time immemorial. So of course, with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, new scams are out there, but they all involve preying on people's greed and fear and gullibility, right? Same old, you know, it's the same old scam, right? It's just a little adapted for Bitcoin, right? And let me just say this, you know, I mentioned it offhand. Please don't ever reveal your seed phrase to anybody, anywhere, anytime, right? So a lot of people are getting scammed with these browser extensions that they're in Chrome or whatever, and they're trying to do some transactions, and it pops up and says, hey, let me manage your ledger transaction for you. And you know, you fill it out, and it asks you to enter your seed phrase, you know, to initialize or whatever, and that's where they steal your seed phrase, right? Ledger would never ask you for your seed phrase, so don't give your seed phrase up to anybody, anytime, anywhere. Let's move on. According to you, right? Good coin to invest. It's the wolf controlling the sheep. All right, let's do another addition. Right? Oh, let me do it this way. Let's go over to Manager. I'm gonna get out of the Tezos wallet by hitting quit. Right, let's choose. I don't want to choose. I'm gonna allow Ledger Manager here. Okay. Why don't we do Ethereum? The big boy, right? What I'm going to do is, you can see that the Ethereum app is on my device. Let's navigate over to that, right? There's the Ethereum app. There's a wallet on there. It's not in Ledger Live yet, but there is a wallet stored on this device, a private key. Let's go over here to apps installed. Oh, there's an update available. Let's see what that's all about. Oh, the XRP needs to be updated. I'm not going to do it right this second. Let's go where we were. Apps installed. Let's go over to the Ethereum app and let's trash it. Boom, trash. I am destroying the private keys for my Ethereum wallet. Why would I do such a thing? Right? Ethereum is gone. Private keys have been erased. Why would I do such a thing? Well, because I can, right? I don't really need to ever do that on the X because it holds all of the apps I need. But some people with the Ledger Nano S might need to shuffle apps on and off to manage, right? It only holds about 4 or 5 apps. So I might need to make room and shuffle apps on and off. So I just deleted my Ethereum app. I deleted my private keys for my Ethereum. What am I going to do? Well, it's quite simple. All I'm going to do is hit install. And what's happening now is the Ethereum app is being installed on this device, and it's generating a brand new Ethereum wallet. But it's not really brand new because the device is deterministic. It is using its master private key to generate an Ethereum wallet, and it's going to generate the exact same private key, Ethereum private key, that it generated the last time I put the app on there. So I've just recovered my private key because the device remembers, right? So let's go back over to accounts here. Let's choose add account and let's choose Ethereum. All right, we'll hit continue and it wants me to get into the Ethereum app. So I'll navigate over to the Ethereum app. I'll hit both buttons. Application is ready. And now it's scanning my Ethereum private keys, if it finds any. Mind you, if this is the first time I've ever done this, it won't find any existing keys. So it's just going to generate a brand new one, an empty one, and say, okay, here, you want to add an empty one? Go for it. Right? So we'll let it scan for Ethereum wallets. Should find a couple. You'll notice the Ethereum scanning takes a bit longer than the Bitcoin scan. So you get nervous, right? All right, so there, it found a couple. Right? I've got several, and these were all previously generated, right? It just regenerated them because the math remembers, right? We're only going to deal with this one, so let's deselect all of these. We'll add this Ethereum account. I like to call this account Ethereum main. Right? But it doesn't matter, right? It'll always be there if I delete it, and I can just add it again. I'm not going to add a new empty one. There's the add new account, right? I don't need to tick this. We'll hit add account here. And then we'll hit close. And lo and behold, there's Ethereum main, right? There's my balance. There's my transaction, and there's all of my tokens, right? Not only did it remember my Ethereum wallet, but it remembered all of my tokens. So there we go. Isn't that cool? Hey, check it out. Solve has pricing information now. That's new. I remember when I bought Solve, there was no price information, like Datacoin. Oh my God, there's Kick Token. Bad Kick Token. There wasn't. I don't think Kick Token was in here before. Maybe it was, but it doesn't show me any pricing information, so it doesn't affect my balance, my portfolio balance. But you'll notice that I do have a coin here with no pricing information, and a lot of people ask me about that. They go, "Oh my God, where'd my crypto go?" Well, your crypto is fine, right? You can see the amount is there. It tells me I have 1,128.138999999. That's it. It's there. That's it, right? Just because I'm not getting pricing information doesn't mean it's not there, right? I can check Datacoin on CoinGecko and tell it, okay, I've got 1,100 Datacoin. How much is that worth, right? Or when I transfer it back to an exchange, the exchange will know how much it's worth. Right? So it's not a big deal if I don't see pricing information in my Ledger Live interface. It would be more convenient if I did, but it's nothing to freak out about. All right? And like I said, I remember this one, Solve, last week, didn't have the pricing information, and now it does. So that's pretty cool. Right? And then you can go up to your portfolio here at the top. You can see your total balance. Right? You can't see how much you bought your coins for, but at least you can see their current value all together, amalgamated, right? And it breaks down how much each coin is worth and what percentage of your portfolio it is. So you can get a lot of information from Ledger Live, but it's not going to tell you how much you bought a coin for. It doesn't really know how much you bought a coin for, right? It just knows the current value and when the coins came in and that kind of stuff, right? Keeps track of it. Now, I should point out as well at this point that they do have this buy crypto feature now where you can buy crypto directly in Ledger Live. But I will add that this is really not Ledger, right? Ledger has partnered with a company called Coinify, and they've built the Coinify interface into Ledger Live. So you're not really buying coins from Ledger. You're buying coins from one of their partners. And when you choose to buy, let's go ahead and hit continue here. I need to get into the account because it's generating a receiving address. This is really the only thing that Coinify cares about is the receiving address. I'm going to hit quit. I'm going to navigate over to Bitcoin. Right, we'll hit both buttons. All right. And that's basically just verifying a new receiving address. Right. And now it's ready for me to buy. Right. And I can choose dollars if I want to. Right. But remember, this is not Ledger. This is Coinify. Right. Here's Coinify. They'll accept your credit cards with fees. Right. So we can click this. Here, I'm going to get rid of this guy here. Learn about our fees, right? There's a handling fee. There's a conversion fee. The network fee is built into the Bitcoin blockchain, right? So we can hit show details. There's the fees there, right? So it's just like purchasing coins on an exchange, only it's a little more convenient because you're doing it from within Ledger Live. I have not been able to make this work. I had some trouble verifying my identity because Coinify did not verify my identity. They farmed that out to another third party called Net Verify, and I was having trouble with my phone. It wouldn't work, and I couldn't get it to work at all. But I ended up going over to Coinify and creating an account and verifying my identity. It worked fine with my webcam. But now when I go over here to log in, it won't let me log in to my Coinify account for some reason. I don't know why. I can log into the account with my username and password all day long on their website. But every time I try to do it in here, it tells me it can't verify my account, whatever. So I'm waiting to do a video on that, but can't get it to work. So we'll see. I'm not that crazy about this whole idea of using an exchange within Ledger Live anyway. I kind of prefer Ledger Live to be a wallet and not an exchange, right? It's kind of like the Swiss knife thing. You don't want too many features. I'd rather keep it simple, but that's just me. And of course, I'm sure a lot of people, some beginners, are going to want to buy, within Ledger, and so I will do a video on this when I get it working, if I can. Let's see if there's any questions here. CryptoDad, can you try adding Chainlink to your wallet? Yeah, I can. Chainlink is a different interface, right? So the first thing we need to do is get the Chainlink on the device. Oh, wait a minute. Link? Isn't Link a ERC20 token? There it is right there. There's Chainlink. It's an ERC20 token. All you have to do is open a Ethereum wallet, right? And then you can choose add account and add token. Send a Chainlink to this Ethereum address, right? Here's the Ethereum address of the wallet. You're welcome to send me Ethereum or ERC20 tokens to this address, right? That's the address. Buy some Chainlink, send it to this address. Boom, it's going to be in your Ethereum wallet. That was an easy one, right? Here's Chainlink right here, 24 coins, right? And you can see that there's a balance and a transaction history, and it's all within an Ethereum wallet. That's Ethereum wallets can hold ERC20 tokens, right? That's the beauty of the Ethereum wallet, right? It can hold multiple sub tokens. Hello, sir. I transferred VeChain Exodus wallet to NANO. ERC address not used third-party wallet. Where is the I transferred VeChain from my Exodus wallet, I'm assuming, to Ledger Nano X, ERC20, address not used third-party wallet. Where the VeChain go? I'm not quite sure, Sheba, what happened. If you sent it to the wrong address, from Exodus to Nano X, should have worked. In these situations, always send a small amount first to make sure it's going to get to the destination. Maybe you generated the wrong address. I'm not sure. Maybe quit Ledger Live, restart Ledger Live, reboot your computer a few times. Make sure that the coins show up. You might even try adding what was it? VE chain. Oh, VE chain. Oh, no wonder. Yeah. VE chain is not an ERC20 token. That's what happened. You lost your coins because VE chain needs to be managed a different way. I don't know if you can do this. Let's try this. VE chain uses a program called Sync. Let's go down here. I'm going to launch it here real quick. Right? There's the VE chain Sync wallet. I'm going to show you this. All right, so we go to VE chain Sync, and I'm going to give you the address of that. Paste that in here. Just click that link, go over to VE chain Sync, and download Sync for Windows or Mac or whatever. You can do it on Linux or Mac or Windows. All right, and then when you launch it, you'll hit Create Now and choose Ledger. Right, and what that's going to do is scan your ledger, and you'll need to be in the Ethereum app, right, to manage your VE chain. Right, so let's go over here. Let's get out of whatever we were in, Bitcoin. Let's go over to Ethereum. All right, and then I already have one. We'll hit Ledger, and there you go. There it is. Let me see if I can find this on here. I'm going to close this real quick. Ledger. Whoops. I believe they've got this here. Yeah, there it is. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to find it. Although I'm not sure if it's going to show up now that you've sent it to your Ethereum wallet, right? Because when you do a VE chain sync and create an empty wallet, it's going to generate a different address for you, a VE chain address. So you probably lost the Ethereum that you sent. I'm sorry, you lost that VE chain that you sent from Exodus to your ERC20 wallet, because VE chain is not an ERC20 token. It looks like one, but it's not. It used to be one, but it's not anymore, unfortunately. So another reason why you should always send a small amount test transaction first to make sure it shows up on the other end. When you send a small amount first, and it disappears, then you'll know you did something wrong, right? And, you know, it's very tricky in the crypto world, right? You're not the first person that's done something like that. There are a lot of coins out there that start off as ERC20 tokens and then graduate to their own blockchain, and it's confusing, and you kind of have to do your research, and you know, but if you always follow the rule that you send a small transaction first, then you would have known right away, hey, something's not working here, and done some more research to figure out what you need to do for VE chain, right? Just a few Google searches will tell you that VE chain is not an ERC20 token, and there it says right there, never send VET to an ETH address, right? Plain as day. So I'm sorry that you did that, but that's it. Mustav, I'm trying to do the same thing. Terribly confusing. I don't even know how to create a header account first. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about there. Thanks for sharing thousands of dollars of knowledge for free. Love watching your videos. Elias Humyan. Humayan. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Rex is a gentleman. I've learned a lot from him. Thank you, Gino. Ledger Live is so unstable, doesn't let me update from the app. Okay, you it's easy to bash Ledger and Ledger Live software when it doesn't work, but almost every software out there that is ever been created by man depends on the underlying resource that you've got. Is your computer in good working order? Have you updated your Windows to all of the latest security updates, the latest version? What do you have? Adware, malware, spyware on your computer? Do you have a bunch of other unstable apps on your computer? It's easy for to blame a particular software when something goes wrong, but a lot of times it's just that your configuration needs to be, you need to make sure your computer's in good working order and your software. Now, I'm not trying to bash you about this, but there are some perfectly good configurations that would cause a particular application to crash, in the sense that the programmers did not test it on that particular configuration, right? There's thousands of computers out there. There's a lot of different ways to maintain Windows. You can have different apps or whatever that might be interfering, firewall, adware, spyware, virus protection, malware protection. All those factors can't always be taken into account by every software developer, right? So you might have a perfectly good working machine that just has an unlucky combination of resources that is causing Ledger Live to crash. You're not the only person that's ever had problems with Ledger Live. I've had glitches with Ledger Live too, but in general, it seems to work okay. If it didn't, nobody would use it, right? But there are a lot of Ledger Live bashers out there. I get it, right? You can use a different interface, right? You could use a Trezor. You could use a Keep Key. You could use Exodus or Atomic Wallet. They're all perfectly good solutions for multi-crypto wallets. But Exodus and Atomic Wallet are desktop-based wallets. They're not quite as secure as a hardware device. So I would recommend some kind of solution with a hardware device. Trezor comes to mind as a good alternative for Ledger if you're having trouble with Ledger Live. All right? Tron is a meme. RIP VE chain. What's your opinion about Tron? I've invested a small amount at the beginning, but many claims it's a scam. I'm not a big fan of Tron. Why don't we go ahead and add it? Let's hit this. In today's case, I happen to have the Tron app. Right? You guys can see it up there. Whoops. Wherever it went. There it is. So Tron is on here, right? I'm going to hit both buttons. I'm going to hit accounts, add account. We're going to choose Tron. And we'll hit continue. So we talked about this earlier. Your device remembers all the private keys that are stored on here, even if you delete the app. In this case, I never deleted the Tron app. It's still there, right? So there's a Tron wallet, it's a private key stored on this Ledger device. Now Ledger Live is scanning for it, right? But they just recently added Tron to Ledger Live. And in my opinion, it's got a couple of wonks to it, right? A little bit wonky. I've had trouble with deleting the Tron app and adding it again, right? It didn't find my Tron wallet. I had to try a few times, right? I froze my Tron, and then it wasn't reading the balance properly. There's just all kinds of little weird quirks with Tron. I think that the company is devoted more to marketing than they are to software development. Let me put it that way. They probably, there are a lot of companies that don't really understand software. and how it works, right? And how to manage a software team, right? There's a lot of managers out there that use the shotgun approach. They're like, I want an app, I want it tomorrow. So I've only got 2 programmers, so let's hire 50 programmers. Get this thing done, right? Doesn't work like that, right? You hire a bunch of programmers, then you got a bunch of different people trying to work on the same app, whether they get along, whether their coding styles are similar, and this Tron is taking forever. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Okay, there it is, finally. Jeez. All right, so it scanned. It found 2 existing Tron wallets, and it's asking me if I want to create a new empty one, which I don't, right? So I'll just untick this one. That's an empty Tron wallet. I'll just erase this one here. Let's get rid of that. Just call this one Tron. We'll hit add account, and we'll close. Let's get these tokens in, and there we go. We've got some Tron. 24,000 Tron. It's not a lot of Tron. I guess I could claim some Tron. I had it frozen at one point. But like I said, I had the Tron earning rewards. And then all of a sudden one day I looked at it and it said my balance was 0. I don't know. It was weird. You know, I was like, well, how come I get it that my Tron is frozen, but why does that mean that my balance is 0? And so I squirreled around with it I went over to Tron Scan. I did a bunch of stuff. I unfroze it and then added it back in Ledger Live. And it took a while, too, a couple days or whatever, till it finally stabilized. And I put it back in Ledger Live. And now it's showing me my balance. And but I'm not going to freeze Tron anymore in Ledger Live, right? Could have been a bug, could have been a glitch. It's all over the place, right? So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Tron, but a lot of people believe in it, right? But let's just say that Tron was 8 cents back in 2017, 2018, and it still hasn't managed to get itself over 2 cents for the last year, right? Even with the boom of 2019, the boom of early 2020, the current run up, Tron is still lingering around 2 cents. So, not a huge fan of Tron. Oh, maybe tomorrow it'll go to the moon. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let me get this gone here. All right. So you've noticed that we've been adding accounts based on the private keys that are stored on the device. Pretty cool. The device does not forget. Is Solve an ERC20 token? Yes, it is. We can look over here. Solve is an ERC20 token that I have stored in my ledger. It is, in fact, an ERC20 token. Are Chainlink and Kyber an ERC20? Could you transfer KNC? Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about all of that. We try to stick to Bitcoin specifically if we can, or major coins. I don't know what HBAR coins are, so, and we're almost done with the live stream, so I don't have time to, research that coin and figure out what it is and how it works. But I can, the previous question of, we can go over to CoinGecko.com and look for any coin. Chainlink is an ERC20 token. So DG, Chainlink is a no-brainer, right? Let's look at the other one here. Kyber. Okay. There it is, Kyber Network. It's also an exchange, it looks like. Is it a ERC20 token? It looks like it is, right? When you go to the description of the coin there, it says token, which generally means it's an ERC20 token, especially when it shows you etherscan.io blockchain. And then it's 39 by market cap, so it's a decent coin. Like I said, if you buy some Kyber on Binance or wherever, and you're reasonably sure that it's an ERC20 token, just send a small amount, like $5 worth, from your exchange to your wallet and see how that goes, right? And let's see over here in Ledger Live, I can go to Ethereum and choose Add Token, right? And then we can search for it, right? And there it is, right? That's another way to be reasonably certain that it is an ERC20 token when you can search for it within Ledger Live. Let me show you that one more time. You're in accounts, right? You've got all these different coins. You can go to Ethereum main, you go to your Ethereum account, and it has Add Token. And when you click Add Token, it asks you what kind of token would you like to add to this existing Ethereum wallet. And then you can search, right? And there it is, KNC. And then it says, oh, okay, so you want to add KNC. I found it. It's an ERC20 token. Just go ahead and hit continue. And then I need to, if I don't have the device, I can just hit this. And it'll just give me the Ethereum wallet address. Just fine. Or I can be, you know, rigorous about it and get out of Tron. And then go over to Ethereum. Hit both buttons. And it's asking me to open the Ethereum app to manage my Kyber network tokens. And there's the address. It's the same address it would have given me if I'd have just said don't have device. Right? They don't change. They don't generate new ones every time. Right? So I can approve that. Done. All right. My malware bytes is taking care of me. All right, we're done there. And then I would go and buy some Kyber and send it to that address. Right? And notice too, if I hit receive on the Ethereum wallet, hit continue, it's the exact same address, right? So send about $5 worth of your Kyber coins to this address just to test it out, and it should appear magically in your list of tokens. That's how that works. Pretty cool. So you got a bunch of them down here. Some of them are empty, right? Some of them have some small balances in there. Pretty cool. All right, so let's see what's going on here. I'm going to have to sign off, guys. It's Good Morning Tuesday. Remember, the live stream is now on Saturdays at, oh, I need to change my graphic. I'm just going to go here. Don't forget, I do a live stream every Friday night. Don't forget, I do a live stream every Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me for the live Q&A from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.